What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Want to talk about something real quick that just makes no sense, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to play dumb, which I never do anyway. You guys remember when Canelo Alvarez said he's not going to fight another Mexican, right? And he recently said it again. He said he's not going to fight another Mexican because he represents Mexico. So he's not going to fight another Mexican. Now, I've heard different people make comments to try to defend that statement, but I'm not buying that bullshit. So let me just say this. I've always liked Canelo as a fighter. Okay, I've always thought he could fight. But at the same time, I don't care who you are. I'm not going to hide behind the fact that I like you as a fighter. Okay? Canelo's no different. In the fight business, right? You fight to make money. No, I wouldn't fight my brother. I wouldn't fight my cousin. I wouldn't fight a family member. I wouldn't want to fight a best friend. Because personally, I'm coming in here to destroy you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not coming in there to just outbox you, outpoint you, and let you walk away unscathed. I want to destroy you. Because I don't like rematches. I don't care for them really. And I don't want to leave it to the judges. I want to beat the living snot out you. I want to break you down from your head, your body, your hips, your arms, your shoulder. I want to break you down. I want to destroy you as an opponent. So you and everyone knows I won the fight. There's no shady business with the decision in case I don't knock you out. But you understand what I'm saying? I want to destroy you. I don't want to destroy someone that I know, love, and care for. Now, to each his own, but to me, that's more understandable. If I sat here and said, look, I'm a black man, I don't want to fight no black fighters. You know the first thing people would come out their mouth and say is, I'm racist? Let's just be real. If I sat here and said, hey man, I'm black, I represent black people, I don't want to fight another black man. So I don't mind breaking the jaw of a white man, a Puerto Rican, a Mexican, an Asian, you understand what I'm saying, a Russian, a German. I don't have a problem with doing that to anybody else. It's just when it comes to black people, I don't want to do the same exact things. Okay, I'm not friends with everybody that I know because we're the same ethnicity. I don't know everybody. So there's many people, like this is a business, okay? And there's many people who they will fight their own brother or their best friend for that bread. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't want to go in there and cheat the people, right? And see me, I'm not into that pulling punches and taking it light nonsense. Like we gonna go to war. I'm a war machine. That's what it's gonna be, right? Canelo says that he doesn't want to fight another Mexican because he is Mexican and he represents Mexico. Okay. He also said he's not going to go to 175 and fight Arthur Beterbiev because, you know, his management doesn't want him to. No, he's Mexican, right? So that's your reason. Now, when he went to 175 and fought Kovalev, listen, Kovalev didn't have enough time to prepare for that fight properly. And I told you, they saw something in Kovalev that they knew already that, and we've seen Kovalev is slowed. Now, Kovalev has not been the same fighter for a while. We knew that. However, Kovalev, his I don't know if you want to say his age was showing or whatever. He was moving. He's fighting on the back foot. He's the bigger, stronger guy, and he didn't do the Thomas Hearns, Ray Leonard one type thing. And no, you're the little guy. I'm the big guy. You gonna respect my power. He fought on the back foot all night. Wasn't really much going on, even though they were fighting. It was just one of those fights where it wasn't really much happening until, you know, Kovalev got knocked out. Now, to say, he also said, I'm giving up too many advantages going up to 175. Okay. There's fighters in lower weight classes that's taller than he is. So it's like, okay, well that excuse won't work for them because they're taller, have a longer reach. But what if they're just not physically strong enough? Right? The same way they may have disadvantages. But my point is, he's saying we don't want to keep giving up too many disadvantages. You went up to 175. You beat Kovalev. you basically went back down to 168. He says he wanted to get all the titles at 168, but according to Canelo, Saunders and Caleb Plant is easy work. So I'm not so much focused on his words in that sense because, well, and again, okay, let me say this. I don't think, I put it like this, I want to see the fights and what happens. But if you think that they're easy work, but then you say you don't want to go up, the fight better be because you're giving up too many advantages. And no, he said because he's Mexican. Okay, isn't David Benavidez, isn't he Mexican also? So pretty much, when I said, it's weird, it's funny how when Benavidez had the title, he had no interest at 168. Remember, he skipped 168 and went to fight. Okay, went to fight Kovalev. Soon as Benavidez got stripped, all of a sudden, he has an interest in jumping into 168 and winning the titles. And so, will he come out and admit, I didn't want to fight Benavidez because he's Mexican? Now, Adrian Broner said, I'm the can man. Anybody can get it. He said, American, African, Mexican, and people booed him and called him a racist. Now, he said American first. But it's so funny because, yeah, it's childish. It's a little petty shit that Adrian Broner says and does. But at the same time, here's a man clearly saying he don't want to fight another Mexican because he represents Mexico. And now I'm starting to notice a lot of people are starting to take shots at Canelo. They're starting to look at him like, hold up, Canelo, wait a minute. Because let's be real. Just like Anthony Joshua said his favorite fighter is Canelo, right? You notice when Canelo fought against, when Anthony Joshua fought against Andy Ruiz, you know who Canelo was cheering for. He doesn't give a crap that he's Anthony Joshua's favorite fighter. He's cheering for his countrymen. Now, if you know me, you guys know that I like fighters. And I'm not like, oh, because he's from here or he's from there. It's the talent. But you know, it gets to a point where it gets kind of hard for you to get behind someone who has that, oh, I'm all about my countrymen, to the point where it's like it's a bias there. Because you got to be realistic, okay? I'll give you a weird example of something. I remember I was at some fights. And I remember this lady was cheering for this guy. And she's arguing with the guy next to her. And all of a sudden, like, I look in the ring, and I'm like, damn, he looked like the guy that was sitting over there. But then I realized he wasn't over there anymore. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that's his brother or something. And I kind of thought, oh shit, like, whoa. It was just kind of confusing. But it turns out, this woman and this man, okay, this lady is, well, she happened to be Mexican. She's cheering for the guy. Do you understand? And his brother who's fighting her husband. And his actual brother. So in other words, okay, she's Mexican. He's whatever he was. And she's cheering for this guy. You imagine your wife is in the crowd cheering, wherever she is. She's cheering for your opponent to beat you. Because that's her countrymen. It's one of them situations. So can you imagine, and I come from a mixed family. So when people have this mentality of, well, I'm siding with my countrymen, I don't want anything to even do with that. It's just like, so wait. So what's this whole point of being married into a family, or your family, or, you know, just bottom line, you have all these different mixes in your family, but the love that's there, it's limited, okay, and it has conditions, because pretty much your flag says, I cheer for that person over you because that's my countryman. So Canelo saying what he said, I'm like, man, I don't need nobody to try to explain shit for me. I heard what Canelo said, and he meant what he said. And to be honest with you, whether he cares how people take it or how it sounds like he said it exactly how he meant it. the guy says he doesn't want to fight another Mexican. Imagine because he's Mexican. So imagine if Adrian Broner had said, hey, look, man, I'm a black American. I don't want to fight black Americans, but I want to fight Mexicans. You understand what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans. They're not going to understand somebody saying that's some racist shit. Because listen to what he actually said. As human beings, it's like we're not evolving. We're not growing and learning mentally. We're just basically stuck in this same bullshit of, okay, these comments that people are making is like, you know what? I don't take it personal, but it's like, for me to sit here, let's just be, okay, let's put it to you like this. Let's just say there's a Mexican fighter right here, and my blood brother's right here. And the fighter says, well, nah, they say you get to pick one of these guys. And that guy says he wants to pick my brother because he's Mexican or whatever, right? And I don't want to fight my countrymen. So you know what happens in a fight. Like I said, that's war. So you don't mind spilling my brother's blood, but you don't want to you don't want to spill his blood because you guys are Mexican. I'm gonna say this, and if this was Floyd Mayweather saying the same thing, everybody would be, oh, he's ducking. To me, this is a pure fucking duck. And let me be frank. I don't think he'll beat, Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, as far as Benavidez, I don't know. I mean, I think Benavidez got what it takes to beat him. But to make this bullshit excuse to me is just an excuse to not fight these guys who possibly might kick his ass. You came into this sport to make money, right? You fought Mexicans in the past, right? So all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, I remember him fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Okay, so now all of a sudden, he doesn't want to fight a Mexican. Yet I've heard other people say, yo, nobody want to fight Cubans. Yo, nobody want to fight Mexicans, man. Mexicans are tough. Cubans are tough. But now you have a Mexican saying he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. So where's that same song and dance now? It just, to me, it's like, it's an excuse to not fight two guys. Example, let's just say another fight. Let's just say at 175, a fight, presents itself that, okay, hey, I know I can beat this guy. And he decides to go to 175 and fight a meatball. Let's be real, okay? Kovalev wasn't the same fighter. Kovalev, like I said, they saw something in him that made them comfortable. I at least respect Miguel Cotto for saying him and his trainer clearly both said Sergio Martinez is, he hasn't looked the same in the past 3 fights. I think we got him right. We want him right now, so I think now's the time. Clearly said right now's the time. He doesn't look the same. He looked bad in his last 3 fights. So they're letting you know, hey, I think I can beat this guy. You understand what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard comes out his face and says, yeah, it was years later, but he come out his face and says, like, hey, man, like, I think he said he was sitting next to his brother or somebody had a fight, and he's watching Marvin Hagler fight. Like, I can beat this guy, man. He had more confidence watching him. And he saw something that made him say, I can beat this guy. I think I can beat him, man. He felt confident in what he saw. Now, let me just say, people can say that's a pussy move. Oh, man, he fought a guy that didn't look, whatever. The point is, whatever he saw, he felt like he could capitalize. You get that feeling. And he felt like he could capitalize, and he did. But to just say, I don't want to fight a Mexican, is like, because I'm Mexican. Anybody can say, I don't want to fight a Chinaman because I'm Chinese. I don't want to fight a black guy because I'm black. I've always liked Canelo as a fighter. But being realistic, to me, is just a cowardly move to not fight 2 guys that he probably feels can beat him. And also, for him to say he's comfortable at 168, let's just be realistic. How long are you going to stay at 168 and not fight Benavidez? And if Benavidez is stupid and fall for that, oh yeah, he's Mexican, but we don't mind. That doesn't sound like some racist shit. I don't mind breaking somebody else's jaw, long as they're not Mexican. Anybody who says that, I don't have a problem with fighting somebody of a different nationality. That's not some racist shit. And people can try to say it, cover up and make excuses, but I'm not going to do that shit. It just sounds really, it's garbage. It's trash. And I listen, and I'm like, wait a minute. So Canelo, what are you actually saying that you don't feel weird even thinking that way? The fact that you're even, okay, he says he wants to unify. Well, right now, he doesn't have to fight Benavidez to unify. He doesn't have, he wants Billy Joe Saunders. He wants Caleb Plant. He wants nothing to do with Benavidez. And I said he could have fought Benavidez a long time ago. And he didn't. Canelo Whitaker went up to 154 and fought Julio Cesar Vasquez. And I remember, you know, the commentator asking him, are you going to fight Terry Norris? That's when Terry Norris was the king at 154. And I said this before. Look at Pineal's face when he goes, no. Like, no, crazy? No. He said, I didn't come up here to fight at 154. I just came for an accomplishment. So what did Pineal do? To have another achievement under his belt, I'm okay. I got no problem with beating Vasquez. I feel like I can beat him. Terry was a different story. He goes up, completely outclasses Vasquez, and he takes his title. It was just a one-off, and that was that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But imagine if Canelo would have said, nah, man, I'm not going to fight him. That's my brother, man. That's my black brother. You know, it wouldn't have went well with nobody else. It would have been, oh, that's some racist shit. Let's just be real about it. It was a one-off. There's many fighters who went up to a one weight class just to get that one, just to see if they can get that title, and that's that. I'm not staying here. Canelo is fighting at 168. He says he feels comfortable at that weight. He says that's what he want to do, is unify that division, and that's his focus. Also, I've said in the previous video, Canelo also is talking about, they're talking about, does he want to fight Charlo? You notice he's not bringing Charlo's name up. He never does. It's other people that ask him that question. He says he has no interest in fighting at 160. But I find that weird when we keep hearing that a third fight with Triple G is in the works. So a lot of times, like, we don't know if this is just people speculating or if this is something that behind the scenes they don't want to blow up yet. But because they're talking about Triple G having one last big payday, one last big fight. You know, this will open up the door. Look, I'm not interested to see him fight Triple G. I'm not interested in seeing Charlo or nobody else fight Triple G, because I think Triple G really needs to just chill. Go off into the sunset. Go out how you want to go out. You're your own man, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm not impressed with Triple G right now. Father Time is a fight nobody can defeat. So when I look at that, which is why I said before, after Charlo's last win, I said, hey, after he beat Derevianchenko, I said if he's going to fight Triple G, he need to do it now. Not wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, because like I said, they're gonna say, oh, he waited for Triple G to get old. And then on top of that, you know, Triple G's, listen, let me say this, Triple G himself, okay, it decides to go in the ring. Let me say this though, you know, as a human being, you don't wish bad things on people, but at the same time, I'm feeling like, you know what, you guys choose to go in the ring, you choose to stay in there at an advanced age, so guess what, at the same time, it's your decision. And whatever happens, happens. That's what they say. That's how they feel. And most fighters feel like that until it actually happens. You know, and when these things occur, somebody can lose their life or end up brain dead. Like I just told you guys recently, man, I watched the video, an interview with Riddick Bowe, and it's like, damn, Riddick Bowe, his speech is so terrible, man. Thomas Hearns, a lot of these guys, man, you listen to them talking, everybody's marveling at how great they were and what they did, but it's like, us liking them as a fighter or you celebrating their careers, it doesn't take that away. So when we have these guys that we can clearly see has slowed down and not the same, but they keep trying to think that they're gonna, you know, spark the magic one last time, and it doesn't happen. Look at Roy Jones' career. Look at how Roy Jones ended his career. It was hard to watch a lot of those fights, and it just got to the point where it was like, you know, it's time to close the show, you know. And what happened, and every fighter has the right to fight. If they can keep getting the license, whatever. I mean, Meldrick Taylor was done as a young man. I saw Meldrick Taylor fighting in high school gyms with slurred speech, trying to tell people that I want to I'm better fight with it's like, wow, the man can't even form a sentence, and he's trying to tell people that he's a better fighter now than he was back then. In other words, in my prime. It happens, and when it does, it's too late. You can't take it back. It's too late. So I'm not interested to see anybody fight Triple G. But this whole Canelo situation is kind of crazy, man, because like I said, he doesn't want to fight Arthur Beterbiev, and he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez. Yet he's at 168 now. And I said he had no interest in 168 in that division until dude got stripped. Remember, Benavidez got stripped twice for not making weight. So let's be real. Let's be real. All of a sudden now he feels strong and good at 168. And you know what's really, and see, understand something. This is one of the reasons, okay? For those who don't understand that, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of anybody's. Like I said, I just appreciate certain things and respect certain things, but I'm not a fan of anyone's. And this is one of the reasons why. We don't know each other personally. You could be cheering for a complete scumbag. You could be cheering for someone. I've always had, been taught and had the mentality. The same person that you look at and think the world of, you might have to fight one day. And a lot of times people, they can't pull a trigger on somebody that they admire. I don't admire anyone. I don't look up to anyone. I just look at them for what their talents is in the ring. I don't do personals. I don't talk about their personal life and who did what to who and who cheated on who. And I heard about this guy got this many kids. I don't get into any of that soap opera nonsense. But this is one of the main reasons why I'm not a fan of anyone's. When people have certain mindsets, okay, and not one person, none of them have to try to appease me. None of them have to try to satisfy Aries. Oh, I got to say the things he like. No, it's just when you catch wind of what people really, how they really are inside, a lot of times you will come to the conclusion like, you know what? I'm angry at myself for not seeing that because I was so into being supportive of this person, right? I'll tell you something that happened one day. I went to school with a female named Christine. Now, we were friends, we were neighbors. And we she never came in my backyard, I never came in her backyard. But she would always be in her yard and I was in mine. We'd play and, and stuff and from the yards. But she never, like I said, I never went in her house. She never been in my house, nothing. We were neighbors. I saw her later on, and I'm talking at this point, I'm talking like 10, 11. So now they moved. And the next time I saw her, we were both we were the same age, same grade and all that. So she was I think we were 18 or 19. And I remember she was like, oh my God, this and this and that, it's been so long, we need to stay in touch and this and this and this. And her and her family were Mormons, right? And I remember it's one thing, like I said, when you never hear a person hear anything personal, because her family were always waving and speaking to us and smiling, and all of a sudden I remember they were in a minivan. You know how the minivan door slides, right? And so she didn't see, her mom didn't see me. And so at this point, I'm standing towards the back because what she asked me was that she said she think that one of their tires is flat, because the way the shit was making kind of a weird noise. And so I'm looking at the tires and I said, no, your tires. So you may have the back left tire, it was a little soft, and I was getting ready to come and tell her. Her mom didn't see me because I was ducked down on my knees and I'm pressing the tire, and I was checking all the tires. And so when I got to that tire, I was down again. So her mom didn't see me, And then I heard her say, whose phone number is that? Say, you know, because they were going door to door trying to get people to join their church and stuff. And so when she said, "Oh, you remember?" You know, told him, you know, she's like, "That nigger kid. This isn't personal, is it?" She, no, it just, you know, we used to play like, okay, just make sure, because I do not come to me telling me you're dating a nigger. And I heard this with my 2 ears and was like, ho. Soon as I stood up and I walked around and her mom saw me, her mom goes, "Oh my God." And I just looked at her. And I said, "What happened? You know, 5 seconds ago, I was a nigger." And because they were religious people, my family is, you know, religious people, my parents, and you know, so it's one of those things where people think the world of you. They think so much of you because of the way you present yourself. But like I said, you don't go home with people, so you don't know how people really think. So same way. And then I met some athletes, I met some entertainers. I've seen some people react in ways where it's like you can see the arrogance and realize they don't care nothing about you. All they care about is their money. They don't care about the movement. They don't care about nothing that you're trying to, that you're into. It's so you understand. I don't have this. I've never had this. I look up to this guy. I'm a fan. I'm not anybody's fan. I don't admire these people. I just appreciate what they do. Some people stand out more than others because of the way they carry themselves, which is why when you find out that people are phony and fake, they're not what you think they are in front of you. It's like, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not into that. But I just feel like what Canelo is doing is really like some slick nonsense just to avoid fighting two guys that he feel like possibly can beat him. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Can you imagine if your kid went up to a guy and said, "That's my favorite fighter. I love him," right? And then all of a sudden, let's just say your kid grows up admiring this guy. He, you know, always had posters of this guy up in his room, and you know, he's talking up this guy. And then let's say this same fighter has his son as a fighter now, and he tells, you know, his son is like, "Oh, I don't want to fight somebody my own nationality, but I'll fight," you know, yeah. You imagine how your child would feel? Can you imagine, like, wait a minute, I grew up admiring this guy. I grew up the biggest fan of this guy. And he actually taught his son to be racist. That's some racist shit. I'm not going to fight somebody my own nationality, but I'll fight that guy. Now, you done probably went and took a picture with this guy, got an autograph. Yeah, just imagine that effect. And I'm making this known because now I see a lot of people making videos trying to support Canelo, saying that people are hating on Canelo. But I'm like, you know, the more Canelo talks and say things, you know, I don't think he cares how other fans see him. That's not Mexican, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think he really gives a shit, which I don't personally care. But it's like, at some point, you stop singing the praises of people. This is like I say, when you look at things for what they are, I'm not going to sit here and bite my tongue about it. Like I said, there's no filter with me. But like I said, Better be in my opinion, beats Canelo. I feel like David Benavidez has what it takes to beat Canelo. But will he actually put it together the way he's supposed to? I don't know. Benavidez, I will go with him for sure over Canelo. So to all of a sudden now have this concern about giving up too much advantages, what are they saying? So when they say that Canelo's manufactured because he fights certain people, so wait. So to say Floyd handpicked people, Floyd did this even though he beat Canelo, but it was an excuse when Floyd beat him. Oh, he was too young, he wasn't ready, 40 plus fights as a professional, was a world champion at the time, 300 plus amateur fights, but he was a baby. Same age Floyd was when Floyd won his title from Canelo Hernandez. So all of this, Wilfredo Benitez 17 when he won his first title. Mike Tyson, 2021, Muhammad Ali 2021, 22, whatever. you know, all this nonsense that people was making up these excuses about. And I always said, no, I'm not going to take out what people say on Canelo, but it's bullshit. He just got beat by a better fighter. And this is why they constantly bring Floyd's name up. This is constantly why they bring his name. Every time Canelo fights, they bring up the loss to Floyd to try to make everybody believe, oh, if he fought Floyd now, like this version of Canelo is better than bullshit. He fought Floyd, he lost. All of this opinion shit don't mean nothing. When they fought, when it mattered, he came up really, really short. And I asked people, do you think that version of Canelo would beat Keith Thurman? Do you think that version of Canelo would beat Danny Garcia or Sean Porter? And many people said, hell yeah, he was better than them back then. Okay, well, how in the fuck do y'all think Keith Thurman would have beat Floyd? Oh, Floyd was ducking Keith Thurman. He ducked Sean Porter. But yet, you guys think that Canelo was better than those guys at that point in his career. And I remember having these conversations. So this is not like something that now I just thought to add. No, we were having these conversations even back then. And when you look at what's so funny, right? Keith Thurman, Canelo, Sean Porter, all these guys, Terrence Crawford, Errol, they're all the same age, right? 30 years old, 31, 30, okay. Look at how many more fights Canelo had than them. Look at how many more amateur fights Canelo had than them. So please fucking tell me how in the fuck that he was ready, he wasn't ready, but they were. Oh, because by that time, you know, Keith Thurman was like, you know, in his mid shit. Please with the excuses, y'all. I've been saying this for a long time, man. You know, I get behind fighters because of their talent, not because of their skin color. And of course, I like to see my black brothers do well. Of course I do. Of course I want to see them going in and winning. But let me explain something to you. For me to sit here and bring content to people, for me to live my life and teach my kids to not be racist, but always keep your eyes open to who you around and don't try to fit in with people. I don't want you out here buck dancing and try to fit in with anybody. Black, white, green, purple, whoever you are. You be yourself, carry yourself with pride, respect, and dignity, right? But how do you end up cheering for someone who makes comments about, I don't want to fight someone of my own nationality, but I don't mind breaking his jaw because we not the same nationality. I don't mind breaking, you know, doing this and that to this person. I don't mind. No, and this is part of why when I look at fighters and I look at what they do, and I see a lot of people trying to cheer for their countrymen. Okay, that's normal. I know people do that shit, you know. But what's so weird about it is I've seen fighters who've accomplished practically fucking nothing, but their countrymen is talking about them like they're the best fucking thing since sliced bread, man. And this situation is just, you know, him saying this to me is like, you just get that cringe feeling like, wow. So in other words, you don't think you can beat Better BF, so you're not going to go up to 175 and fight him. What about if Better BF decides he's going to come down to 168 and fight you? How about that? Would that be okay? Does his advantages go away? Does he shrink? Does his reach get shorter? Huh? What about if he drains himself to come down and then would that be okay? Because we know what happened with Kovalev's situation, right? We know what happened with the last guy, forget his damn name already, man. The last guy, not the guy before last from the UK. We know about he didn't have enough time to really prepare. I think Canelo still wins, you know, that particular fight. But the point is, it's been a lot of shady things that he does, like giving people short notice to take a fight, knowing they're not going to turn that bread down. So when Caleb Plant turned it down, you had idiots going, oh man, he's scared, he turned. No. You come and give a person a short notice. See, and this is what people don't understand. Imagine if I'm studying you, I'm training and I'm watching tapes of you, I'm studying you. Then I come and give you 4 weeks notice. Yo, man, you want this fight? Yeah, man, I'm looking for an opponent, man, and this, that. Hey, how about? And you got a month to train for me. I'm already in top shape. You have to get in that fight shape. You know, and in boxing, word goes around. People know what's going on with certain fighters, and This is why a lot of fighters try to stay away from social media, and they don't want people coming in their gyms. Because people run back and hey, yo, the guy, I noticed he look a little soft around the gut, or, yo, I noticed this and it. This is what they do. They try to get advantages. So Caleb Plant was a chicken because he decides, nah, that's not enough time. And then he also already had a mandatory. He fought his mandatory recently, beat him, did what he had to do. Regardless to if you think Canelo will beat him or not, at the end of the day, it should be done fair. And if you accept those terms, then you put yourself in that situation. Nobody made you take the terms. Now you take the fight, let's say you take the loss, but this is your biggest payday. And it also could be your last big payday. Depending on how the fight goes. At the end of the day, though, that was just cowardly. But listen, I'm tired of talking about this right now, and I just felt like it was something that was cowardly, man. It was cowardly, and it's some racist bullshit. And I don't give a fuck about these bandwagon riders who want to sit up here and make excuses for him. If, like I said, if it was anybody else, if Adrian Broner would have just said, I don't want to fight black Americans, but I'll fight Mexicans, I'll fight Puerto Ricans, then it would have been, oh man, that's some racist shit. But this man clearly said, I don't want to fight Mexicans because I represent Mexico. So this is my point. So why in the fuck would anybody who's not Mexican give a fuck about Canelo? Think about it. I mean, you got people like myself that may say, man, I'm all about who's the better boxer. Then you got people like somebody just was talking the other day and said, you know what I'm saying, when I fight. Matter of fact, the guy that fought Adrian Broner was like, yo, I'm fighting for Puerto Rico. This ain't just for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let my country do all this shit. And it's like, that's all good if you feel like you doing it for your country or whatever. You feel like you whatever, you're obligated or whatever. But what I am saying is, and I looked and I said, you guys think about this, right? People dogged out Muhammad Ali because Muhammad Ali wouldn't go to war. Call him a draft dodging nigga. He don't care about his own country. You didn't even care about Muhammad Ali in this country. He finds the Nation of Islam. Now, I'm not a religious person at all. I have my beliefs, and that's that. But at the same time, it's like, how do you expect the person to react when, the country that you were born and raised in, people don't want you here. They're calling you a nigga. Go back to Africa. You coon, you monkey. How do you think people are going to react to that? Muhammad Ali said, I'm not even free in the country to here where I was born and raised. You want me to go kill people from the Vietnam? They ain't never called me no nigga. They ain't never done nothing to me. And then the same people who are oppressing you and taking from you and denying you have the nerve to do name calling and treat you like you're unworthy to be from this country. You should be proud of, or you're privileged. What's privilege? Like you said, this place is on Miami Beach. I can't even go. I'm being treated like I'm an outsider, like I'm not even from Earth. Right here where I live, where I call home. So you understand? And people, even a lot of people now still, oh, Ali was racist, and they overlook how Muhammad Ali was treated. That's why he got to a point where he got emotional. He took his gold medal and tossed it in the river because he realized, man, I fought for this country, and look at how I'm being treated. And all the shit talking he did, there was a wrestler named Gorgeous George back in the day, and Ali was looking at how the packed the building was, and everybody's there, they're booing him, but they keep coming out to watch him. They want to see him lose so bad, but they keep coming out. And his character, he was a shit talker. So that's all he did was adapt to that. That's all that was. But at the end of the day, your emotions and we're not talking about you have an incident with somebody and then all of a sudden you start blaming everybody because that person, everybody who's the same nationality as that person, got the same hair, eyes, or whatever, same skin. That's not what I mean. I'm pretty sure you guys are intelligent enough to understand where I'm coming from. You can't sit here and treat people like shit and expect people to just sit back and take your shit and go, oh, well, that's just the way it is. So, this is the kind of divisions that happens in life, period. But, just the fact that Canelo even said that shit, man, is like, wow. 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 Let me give you guys, and I'm going to close this video, man, but let me give you guys something to really think about. If every fighter that you cheer from, right, and all your favorite fighters is just from the country you from, okay, well, I know most people feel that way. But imagine this, right? We have children. Our children may not marry someone that's the nationality that we are. Do you deep down inside feel like, why you gotta go out and marry one of them? Why you gotta go out and date one of those people? Man? Why couldn't you find somebody our own? Do you really feel like that? And I say this because let's just be honest, right? I don't have a favorite fighter. I don't have a favorite singer. I don't have a favorite actor. Now, I have favorite genres of, like, I find myself, it depends on the mood I'm in. Really, I don't even have, to be honest with you, I don't even have like, it depends on what mood I'm in, and because sometimes I find myself, like, I love watching, like, Marvel movies. Avengers, Spider-Man, all that kind. I love watching The Incredible Hulk, all that kind of stuff. I like watching horror movies. I like watching those old school kung fu movies. I like watching action movies. I don't like dramas. I don't like so-called love stories. I don't like shit like that. I don't like soap operas, all my children and stuff. I don't like stuff like that. That's just not me. I don't like Tyler Perry movies. There's certain things I don't get into. But I never watch a movie based on who's in the movie. It's because I think it's going to be a good movie or not. But understand the point what I'm saying. Your kids are going to grow up, unless you teach them different, but they're going to grow up having favorites. They're going to grow up looking at different people in ways that you probably not even aware of. So let's just say, for example, you're Greek, right? Now let's just say you're Greek, and let's just say your child grow up around nothing but Greek people, aside from going to school or whatever. But let's just say all of a sudden, one day, you're sitting there and you're talking about, I hate those Chinese people. Chinese people this, Chinese people that. And let's just say all of a sudden one day, your daughter comes home with a Chinese guy. How do you feel about that? Now imagine this. Your daughter and her Chinese husband is sitting there arguing and fighting and bringing up nationality and defending their nationality over each other. And letting nationality separate their relationship. You know how many ignorant people will go, I told you should stay with your own kind. But what you're probably not aware of is your daughter probably had 4, 5, 6 different Greek boyfriends that probably all dogged her out, or maybe she dogged them out, whatever. So my thing is, I've heard people say things like, I'd rather get dogged out by my own kind than somebody else. I'm like, no, I'd rather not get dogged out at all. How about that? So this is what I'm saying. I'm not Chinese, okay? But I guarantee you, anybody grew up watching Bruce Lee, people was like, yo, Bruce is the man. Bruce. Everybody was imitating Bruce Lee. Everybody was imitating. I didn't see people imitating Chuck Norris. I didn't see them imitating Shogazuki. I didn't see them imitating Jim Kelly. I didn't see them imitating, Ron Van Cleef. I didn't see them doing any of that shit. Everything, it was all about Bruce Lee. Okay? My point. Okay? Do I care that Bruce Lee's Chinese? No. The dude was a talented martial artist. He was a talented actor. Simple. Simple. So my point is, once we get to the point where we start, but that's my countryman, but that's, and understand, when it gets to the point where it gets personal and you get to that point where I don't want to fight another brother. If I say that, I mean I don't want to fight my own blood brother, my own cousin, my family member. Everybody else out here is a stranger to me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to fight a close friend. Because like I said, my mission is to destroy you. And that's exactly how it's going to go if I have my way. So, but for me to say, I don't want to fight another black man because I'm black and I represent black people. There's not one of you sitting out there that wouldn't say, Aries, that's some racist shit, man. Not one of you would sit back and say, I understand that. Only people who would understand that shit and agree is probably like the LDBC. Okay? And other guys who may feel the same way, whether they LDBC or not. But you understand my point is, no. You have cousins, sisters, brothers. They come home with a white American. Come home with a Puerto Rican. Come home with a Mexican chick. Come home with an Asian chick, with a chick from Thailand. Come home with a chick from Japan. And what am I supposed to? Oh man, why you ain't marry somebody black, man? Why you got to go out there? See, I just don't get down like that. So I really just listened to Canelo's comments, and it was like, hey, now don't get my words twisted. I'm not at all upset, offended, or I'm just giving you guys the boxing news. But what I am is acknowledging the fact that he's all about his Mexican people. Okay. So at the same time, right? Now when you see Canelo fight guys, and they're obviously not going to be Mexican, right? Do you guys now understand one of the reasons why Canelo was getting so much scrutiny thrown at him? Why people are looking at him like, man, fuck Canelo? Do you understand that? Because I know how I was raised. If you in my circle, we all get treated as equals. It's like me, imagine me coming from a black family and I got my Puerto Rican homies in the house, but all my black friends are eating off silverware, glass plates. But the Puerto Ricans are getting paper cups, styrofoam, stuff that I'm going to throw away. You don't think that they feel some kind of way? The only way that kind of shit is acceptable is if you run out of damn silverware in China and you don't have any more and this is all you got left. But just the point that I'm not treating you the same way I would them. Look, y'all, never fall in love with lies. You remember the truth brings hate out of people? And that's all I'm going to say on this video, and I will catch y'all on the next one.